We'll see. Do your thing while I do my thing. Give everybody blue argonite. The energy of blue argonite. See, there's a quick reference for argonite. Let's see. Agate. No, not that one. Argonite is a calcium carbonate mineral. It occurs in various colors, including white, gray, yellow, and blue. The most popular varieties for metaphysical use are red argonite and blue. Argonite forms the skeleton of a number of marine organisms, either living or recently fossilized. Reddish argonite comes from Spain. The most popular form of argonite for metaphysical use are reddish argonite star clusters found in Morocco and stunning blue argonite specimens, which have come out of China. This one, I don't know. I've had this for so long. I had to order this, but I don't think I ordered it from China. I think it was a shop in America. But this is the blue argonite. And so, many of the soft blue stones, such as aquamarine and lamar, are known for calming disturbed emotions and enabling communication of one's emotional state. Blue argonite goes a step further. They enhance all levels of emotion perception and intensify one's enjoyment of all emotional states. Much suffering comes from suppression of emotions. Blue argonite relieves the fear which leads us to numb ourselves to the joys and sorrows of life. It brings a renewed zest and courage for experiencing of all of one's feelings. It is not only a powerful intensifier of positive emotional states, but also of assistance in healing past and present emotional wounds. It allows one to embrace fully everything that life brings, make it easy to see the beauty of perfection of both triumph and tragedy, love and loss, as well as states in between. And Natasha says it carries the energy of the wind and water elements, creating a channel for information for the higher realms to be expressed through the throat and heart chakras. Its energy stimulates the inner vision of one's connection to guidance. It soothes and opens the throat area so that one can effectively communicate spiritual information. This is an excellent stone for channelers, psychics, or teachers of spiritual principles. Blue argonite is very useful in supporting the practice of break work for emotional healing. It helps in balancing the respiratory system, ameliorating asthma and bronchitis. Its frequency stimulates inspiration of powerful stones for reaching deep states of meditation. Blue argonite is excellent for stimulating the throat chakra, making a good choice for those who hesitate or who have difficulty expressing themselves because they're unable to find the words. Blue argonite facilitates spiritual communication, helps one convey ideas and concepts clearly, assists in expressing one's higher knowledge as one's deep feelings. It is excellent for sound healers and of all types. And that is why generally this blue argonite stays in my big singing bowl. And so for those of you who don't know and never checked me out, I am Big Pontiac. I'm the holder of the spiritual ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. I am also your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. So tonight, still drinking copper-infused water. I'm on a fast. So I haven't eaten in a while. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. Whoa. SD, what's happening? What happened to Russia? The last report said that they started some maneuvers, more than maneuvers. They attacked Kyiv. They've attacked around Kyiv, I think it's called. They've attacked around there, and they've started attacking their military installations. I still say it's wag the dog. This benefits the Democrats. If Joe comes to the rescue, it will definitely benefit the Democrats. And that's what it's seeming like it is. As I said earlier, we don't rely on them to get more oil. Now, you know, the other side is, the other side is saying things like, you know, we depend on them oil. And that's the lie, that we depend on their oil, and that makes the gas prices higher. And that's an outright lie. That's an outright lie. That's an outright lie. Now, they want to blame the lack of the pipelines closing. We know the main pipeline from Michigan was closed down. That went under the Great Lakes. I think the pipeline that went across the natives' property, I think that's got closed down as well. So you have to look at those factors, the factors as they call green, or, you know, the green movement of shutting these pipelines down. I think even some of the fracking, you know, where they crush that rock down to get the oil. Yeah, news is hyping it, of course. Of course, we've been seeing them build this up. And so they're all going to run with it now. and especially CNN. That's why to me it sounds like wag the dog. Now, if you look at every war, it's sides that fund both sides of every war. I mean, we can just go back to Vietnam and see that both sides was giving money to both, both sides were getting and giving arms. I mean, American, all they had to do to stop Vietnam is mine Hamping port and then blow up the port leading to China. That would have stopped Chinese and Russian armaments from coming in to Vietnam. And so you see how this was allowed. When Nixon threatened to do that, they went back to the peace accord and they signed the deal because they knew that it would take them years to repair that area. So that's all we see is we see another example of wag the dog. Benefits, the Republicans needed to find something, and their go-to is war. I'm not saying that Bushes both didn't do something very similar, but that's what we see. That's what we're seeing right now. And so what the public enemy say? Can't trust it. Can't trust it. We can't trust what the news tells us, especially once Obama passed it that, you can put propaganda on people. I mean, this is what people don't recognize with Obama and what he said and what he's done. They just say, he was our black president. So many things like, oh, when Trump was here, oh, we miss Obama. Okay. And they was even trying to say one time maybe Obama should run for president. So we see they're at it again, and this is I mean from all of our history. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and when in my lifetime didn't I see war? My first 10 years was Vietnam. Because don't let them tell you that there was not activity by the U.S. military in 1960 and 61. I have a friend that was there in 62, 63. But there were advisors there as early as 59. After the French lost and got kicked out, the American forces went right in. What do you think about Putin? I mean, he's the same. He's the same kind of put there as the boogeyman. I mean, that's what this system calls for. I mean, capitalism always needs a boogeyman, but capitalism always also needs poor. In the slave class. I mean, that ain't never went away. It's slavery by a new name just because you pay them. But you got all these, the amount of taxes that are wasted is just unbelievable. I mean, there used to always be a joke about, screwdriver costing $300, but that is the waste. And let's not forget what happened before 9/11 on 9/10, how Rumsfeld said $1 trillion was missing. You don't think that reached some pockets of people that's still living today? So Putin is just another name out there, run by the same agenda, the same people that have always run it. Yeah, a little better. So we see the same thing. And do we really think they want to blow up all that new infrastructure over there in Europe? And as I said before, a Band of Brothers shows they didn't blow up all that stuff over there. One of the first, their steel was never knocked out. Their ability to produce steel, and this is one of the first things that went back into production for the Germans. So do you think they really want to destroy all this stuff they can use? Now, of course, they can attack military things, but things that are going to make them money, do you think they're attacking this? I think he said he was not attacking. Well, they said, I just read something about 20 minutes ago in his speech that said, they were going to, he had going in and they were, he said that the world agreed with him, that he should go in. Oh. So I just think it's a big distraction to help the Democrats. Because watch them set up something where here I am to save the day. Watch, Biden is going to go in and do something to save the day and try to see if that is going to raise their numbers. What else can he do? People hate him. People hate paying $3.50 for gas. And say they do go in and they do strike and Biden comes out the winner. How quick do you think gas prices is going to go up? Think about it like this. Say Biden does something where it looks like America came out and won. People would ignore the high gas prices and the high inflation because we got to win. Hey, what's happening, Mr. Lamborghini leg lock? So I think it's a distraction. It's Wag the dog. What's a script? What do you mean? What is the script? Are you young? Are you really young where you've never taken English? You've never looked at how you tell a story, how you do a screenplay? A screenplay, you have to do a screenplay. And then what you do is once you give out the screenplay, you have to give the screenplay, once it's in production, goes out to the lighting, the grip people, how to build the stages. And the scripts are what you give the actors. The actors looks at their lines. They get their lines from a script. And as I said before, there's an egghead person at all professional sporting events that go by scripts. There's an egghead person that he's putting there. And again, now it's probably more exciting for him because he has all this online betting, this constant betting that's going on. Again, that's something a machine would love. ACWE. Yeah, I've been seeing that. NATO probably won't get involved. If they was going to get involved, they would have been involved. You know what the United States answer was? The United States said, we've sent more money over there. So what if all the armaments that we sent over there get captured to the Russians? Who did we really send them to? So none of their shit worked? Like they couldn't attack first? Once they saw they was being attacked, all them 100,000 troops amassed in one area? You telling me that one bomb couldn't knock out massive, that they had to wait to be attacked? I mean, on the other hand, we're doing the same thing down in the southern border. They're trying to get all these European-looking people to come on in so they can be Americans. Just chilling. What's up, SD? First time seeing you. Say just chilling. I think he's come here a couple times. I don't know, maybe not. So this is, this is what we're going to see in the possibilities. If we supposed to gave them, millions of dollars worth of armaments, so why aren't they fighting back? You just wait till your military installations. I know it's all scripted. Of course it is. So the same thing with war. There's pictures of bombs. Yeah, I read that. I saw some of that too. Apple just shot that across. But again, Wag the dog can show all that. They can show all that. I think Syria, remember a year or two ago, Syria supposedly had a gas attack, and maybe it's further back than then. And then people was looking like, one thing you have to look at is like, look at the clothes people wear. Like they're telling you, a year or so ago, they was telling you these people is walking thousands of miles, but when you see them, they wearing new clothes. How is that? How do you walk 1,000 miles in a humid country where you should have shorts and t-shirts on, but yet these people is wearing new clothes? So you see it's part of an act. So when they was showing you all these people coming up here, you can't believe it, because what is the odds that these people have new clothes? What is the odds? So a lot of it we see, world events and sports are scripted. Absolutely. 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 And so that's my thing is, okay, all these people on your border, start attacking them. You got all this U.S.-backed stuff. That was the same thing we saw in Afghanistan. All this U.S.-backed stuff, the same way that was supposedly in Vietnam. But again, I'm pretty sure that the Republicans helped them to make Joe Biden look bad. That is what Afghanistan was. I am positive of that. They helped the rebels defeat Biden, because defeating Biden makes him look bad. So what does Biden do? All of a sudden another war. And say Biden does drop the bomb on him, or drop some bombs on him and say it's from Ukraine. I mean, again, they're vulnerable. You got all these people amassed in one area. Isn't that vulnerable? Isn't that what most people want? You want the fuckers in one area. It's easier to bomb them in one area. They tell you they got all these bits, like they were saying they was hit with Scud missiles and all that kind of shit, surface to air missiles. Well, maybe. But if NATO wanted to do something, isn't that what you want? A pitched battle where they're all out there? And yet, what do we see? They're saying they're helpless, like the Afghanistan army. They're helpless. They just gave up. They're not getting U.S. checks anymore, so they're not going to fight anymore, which I wouldn't blame them. But what did Kennedy say? When it comes down to it, it is up to them. So the Ukrainians don't fight for their land? That's sad. You know, the sad part is that you have civilians. And it's true New Year when spring starts. Is it the true New Year when spring starts? Well, actually, it just depends on which calendar you go by. In the Mayan calendar, one calendar gives you the day out of time is March. The other one, the day out of time is May. Well, actually, I think more of May is the day out of time, but part of the Mayan New Year is the spring. So a few of them. So it depends on what calendar you look at. Yeah. Russians don't want to mess with NATO. I don't know. I think it's scripted for Russia to go so far. I don't think it's going to be World War II, but they say Russia wants back into the pre, Russia supposedly they've given by giving the pipeline that goes through Germany, they say that Putin has made $1 billion a day. I don't know. Seems like a lot of things that Biden did would help Putin in that aspect. So, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Because when Hitler went in there, so many people didn't let him go, and they allowed Hitler to take the Rhineland, parts of Austria. I mean, they let him take so much of this shit before they did anything. And it wasn't until they got Poland. So why was it Poland? You had Chamberlain going over there waving some fucking paper, and they're laughing at him. They're sitting there laughing at him. Like, this motherfucker really think this paper going to stop us from going in the ass. But the other thing is just like, now something I learned about watching Lincoln, check this out. I did not know after Gettysburg, I had never studied this. And I had a whole book just on Gettysburg itself. But I had never read before that they actually had Lee trapped. They had Lee trapped with a bigger army. And right after Gettysburg, before he crosses the James River, apparently they could have attacked him and beat him. But General Hood, which Fort Hood is named after, maybe I'm wrong about that. It might have been the Southern Hood, but Hooker, maybe it's Hooker. His name is Hooker. He didn't pursue him, but we see the same thing in Dresden. They had the ability in Dresden to end the British fighting. They were able. They had the opportunity to capture 400,000 men that would have stopped Britain from being a fighting force, and they just let them go. They had to go. So we see the same kind of things. Like they try to show you, Lincoln and Kennedy's and shit, which, history's repeating itself. Yeah, it is. The truest love you ever get is the love you show yourself. Indeed. Hey, Ziz. I've been hearing for a very long time Russia was going to attack the U.S. in World War III, which is yet to happen. No, they ain't coming over here unless it's allowed. If they do the man in the high castle, if it's allowed. She's trying to get in my closet. So I had to throw one of my slides at the cat. People think World War III is going to happen. Well, I mean, that's a way to kill a lot of people. I mean, war is a way to kill a lot of people. Look at all the people that got killed in Europe during World War World War One, World War Two, Civil War. I mean, millions of people, millions of civilians. Well, I think more civilians got killed in World War II than did actually soldiers. And I never thought that I would see Europeans fighting Europeans again. But again, Russia claims that area. And so it's going to be given to them the same way Hitler was first given. So that's what I see. What did you shoot? Was that a magnet shot? No, it was like when I opened my closet, I left it like not all the way compressed. So the cats have learned that if they keep messing with it, they can open the closet. So I just threw that rubber, that slide, that Adidas slide at their ass. That's all I did. Just threw the slide to make them quit. You know, having the long hand of being the boss. But that's what we see. We you know, I still think it's wag the dog. It's a distraction to help the Democrats in some kind of way. And so think about it like this. Biden does something. You see that Putin's action is helping Biden. That's what I look at, is that some kind of way this is going to benefit Biden. Because watch all the conservatives be like, all of a sudden they're going to have to turn their rap. Because if NATO forces help some kind of way, the conservatives say, well, we've got to back the forces. We've got to back the soldiers. And so that's a great possibility. Very possible. CNN and Fox are panicking. I would say CNN is happy because it gives them something positive for a change. But CNN is dying. Like they said something. I was watching Fox one day and they said that Joe Rogan gets 11 million listeners a day and CNN is getting like 500,000. So Rogan is killing CNN. So yeah. So I think this will even benefit CNN because they ain't got nothing. There's nothing good they can say. That's why they keep going back. Like if you look at CNN, anytime they keep going back to the riots because they have nothing else. They have, hey, there's Lorenzo. What's happening? Whoops, they have nothing else. So I'm gonna do just a quick breakdown of Skyfall. You know, it's funny how everything copies everything, and this is the theme of the show. Of the two shows they showed today, the theme is like Godfather, when Michael saying that they're going to go legit. I mean, we saw the same thing in Superfly. You know, Superfly wanted to score one last deal so he could go legit. Sugar Hill was another one. You know, the Wesley Snipes character wanted to stop selling dope and you know, go retire. So it's that theme of, you know, the dope dealer turning into legitimate businessman, the same as the gangster turning into the, you know, the Costa Nostra mafia is actually in Europe. The Costa Nostra turning into legitimate people. And really the person we saw, I think Putin was scared of Trump. I think Trump was more unpredictable. That's what I think. I think he was more predictable. CNN, nothing but cloud chasing for ratings, like ESPN. Yeah, of course. And like I said, I look at one thing that Fox has done, and CNN does it too, but I don't think they learned from what hurt ESPN. ESPN highlighted all these shows talking about the same goddamn thing. I mean, so you were saturated and you was just giving different opinion by ex-athletes of the same shit over and over and over again. And that's what you have at Fox, and that's really what you have at CNN. They all give their spin of something that's over and over, you know, something that's been talked about by prior people. Like it was so much more to say. So I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. I think that's going to affect them. And so that's a big, and another part, people, I think on the second show, they did a Hearst because he looked over the ocean and he was going to build a compound. And that kind of goes back to Hearst, as Patty Hearst, as the Hearst paper people. I think that went up for that too. But one thing that becomes very clear. Oh, and another thing is, I'm pretty sure that Saint's girlfriend is African too. I don't know if people pick that up. She's definitely African, but again, she's got the weave. But you see that they're going to set it up where at some point in the show this season, she's going to get kidnapped. probably further along as she's pregnant, they're going to kidnap her to get money from him. You know, kind of like Paid in Full when they kidnapped the little boy. You already see that building up. She's going to get kidnapped at some point in the show. So kind of a lot of what they were showing was predictable. You knew they was going to bring Teddy back. Ain't necessary evil. So, you know, you knew that they were going to bring that back. So it's kind of predictable in that regard. So let me see what else I got. Now when they showed the reenactment of Len Bias dying, as I said before, Brian Trimble and I think PJ was saying that Brian Trimble is now a drug counselor. But as I said before, and I said in my video, and I've said on here before, Brian Trimble used to go with a girl I knew named Vivian. Vivian was from Michigan, and Vivian came home from the summer, and she was listening to the story. She's like, damn, that's the dude I talked to. You know, we just sitting there listening, and she's like, yeah, you know, he'd have powder and shit. But, and so what I always thought about Len Bias is a lot of like what happened to Janis Joplin. She was given more pure heroin, and that's even what the lab said, is that the heroin that Janis Joplin got was more pure. Now, Brian Trimble, he testified, and this is testified, he testified that Len did a coffee cup worth of dope during the day. Lefty Drizel, who was the coach, helped clean up the room, and they put this ounce they found an ounce of what was left. So, you know, to kind of break down what happened is Len gets drafted. He goes to Boston, signs his contract, gets his bonus, goes to Reebok, signs another $1 million contract. Then he goes home to Maryland, and then he goes up to campus to party with his friends because now he has liquid money. So they buy, supposedly Brian Trimble bought an ounce of dope, which is odd because what they find in the car is an ounce of dope. And again, he only had his car a few days. So there's a book that came out in 88, 89 that gives both scenarios, that they were smoking freebase or smoking crack, more than likely freebase. And that's one scenario. And then he has a seizure and dies. The other scenario is kind of what they show, that he was snorting. They said he was actually sitting on the bed, and then he stood up. And after he stood up, he fell out and had a seizure. Never really heard about people having seizures from cocaine. And I think people don't understand. And the cocaine was a higher grade again, but I think people again don't look at the death of Don Rogers not a week later. Don Rogers died a week later under the same conditions. Now, do you know how many people around the country were doing cocaine? And how many people supposedly had seizures? I've never seen anyone or heard of anyone ever having a seizure from doing cocaine. Now, and I've watched people just smoke just exorbitant amounts of crack and nothing happened to them. So, do you use water filters in your house, or do you just rely on the Motivite for filtering water? Yes, I do use a charcoal filter for my fridge water. Yes. China fixing to take Taiwan, and that would give them American two fronts. And so but what Len really came down to, Len was really a Michael Jordan sacrifice. Michael Jordan was a year older, I think. He was a year older. They had played 2 years against each other. Clear Michael Jordan sacrifice. Just as we see Aaliyah being a sacrifice for Beyonce, we see Len Bias being a sacrifice for Jordan. So that was the blood they took for Jordan's career, was to sacrifice Len Bias. Both in the ACC, both had known each other since they had went to basketball camps. That's how they actually met. Another thing is, I said this before last season. Last season when they showed Wanda tripping, like when she was getting off her crack, they make you think that, see, heroin, your body has to have. Your body, when you become a heroin addict, your body physically has to have it or you'll get sick. Cocaine is only mental. Now, it might make you anxious not having it, And it might make you go do crazy shit to get it. But it is not going to have you, when you try to stay off it, having cold sweats and shit. It's just not going to do that. It is a mental drug. And so mentally, you're saying you want more. Your body inside is not saying it wants more. So that's a misrepresentation. They have these people acting like they're heroin addicts and like what they're going through is with heroin. So, hey, Jody. Zach made a video on KD sacrificing his grandma that could Nets championship soon. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Hey, peace and good vibes to you. Thank you. That's kind words. Drugs are terrible. I like marijuana, so, but cocaine, yeah, it's something that eventually it's like selling it is can be messy. I mean, powder is a lot easier to sell than crack. I don't know, like I personally don't know anybody that sells crack, so yeah. But yeah, we saw us destroy a lot of lives. Again, what I've said this many times, I'm gonna keep repeating this so people understand. In the 1950s, the auto companies already knew with the unions and production costs going up, they were going to make less. And so they started planning in the 50s to take all these jobs from mostly melanated neighborhoods and take it to places like Mexico and Canada, places where there's no big unions. Take it to states, southern states where there's no unions, like Alabama. Mercedes opened up a shop in Alabama. Tennessee used to have when the Saturns were still running. They had a big plant down there. But they took the union jobs away, and then the government came right in with the crack. And they criminalized it, something that the government had their hand in bringing in, and that's nothing new. That's nothing new. I mean, Kill the Messenger is a great movie, and yeah, they're laughing at people now. It's like, well, we did it. We did it. But this was the attack on melanated people all across the country, and it destroyed families. And then you got a guy in office that wanted to lock people up, that helped put this legislature and said it was a difference between crack and powder. Now, even though Jesse Jackson is a sellout, one thing Jesse Jackson was harping on even back then was saying, why are the penalties different? If you have an ounce in a powder and you have an ounce of crack, it's the same. It's like the thing of what weighs more, a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And they were given heavy time for nonviolent crimes. As I said before, one of my friends got what white boy Rick ended up getting. If you had over 264 grams, you got life, for a nonviolent crime. There was one lady that actually just went and picked her boyfriend up, took him home, and on the way back, she got busted. He gets out before she does. It was his cocaine. They tracked his flight. They knew he had cocaine, yet he got out of prison before she did. She had, and I think she got out, but I knew the guy got out because all them dudes who got life without parole. Again, my friend did 16 years, didn't snitch, didn't tell on anybody, and he's back in the pocket. He was a Michigan guy. So we see that a lot of ways this was allowed. And I did want to give my little jab there. Franklin they showed him wear a wife beater. So again, you got to wear t-shirts. So it wasn't a whole bunch that I got out of it. I was kind of shocked to see the Len Bias thing. So like Jordan sacrificed his father. And remember, another person was sacrificed before his father. He had a girlfriend that drowned it in a what do they call those? Flash flood. He knew a girl that died in a flash flood, supposedly his girlfriend. This is in one of his childhood books, but I had just heard the story knowing people that grew up with him. And so, yeah, so that's why they said he was terrified of swimming. Is content with being alone healthy? Yeah. I mean, I spend a lot of time alone. I spend almost majority of my time alone, and I never feel lonely. I've said this many times. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better not to be around energy that just might not mesh with, or energy that takes away from your peace of mind. So the best thing is never to be lonely, and it will. If there's people that need to be in your life, they need to be in your life. I understand my energy with people. And as I said, I was dating this young woman, and I just had to break down where my thinking was. And it was probably a little too harsh. It was probably a little too heavy. But again, it's like, this is who I am. And so if you can hang with this, you can hang. If you can't, you can't. You ain't got to lie or make up any lie about it. If you can hang, you can hang. Young Weezer. I saw he had a tattoo that was a dagger with a serpent wrapped around it. Looked cool. It might be say representing something. I'm not very knowledgeable on that. That can represent several things. It just depends. Some motorcycle gangs have something like that. Actually, it is. Let me see. The book is right here. I have to, because it's one of the type of crosses, but it's got another name to it too, where you see it wrapped. It's the symbol. It's the same symbol you see the hospitals use. You know, doctors, the Hippocratic Oath. But it is some representation in this book somewhere. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Because there's another symbol. There's several other symbols. Page 23. Oh, it's not that one. So there's several others. You see how he was acting at All-Star Game, Jordan? Yeah, I checked him out. But he kind of laid back, I thought. He kind of laid back, I think, and let everybody. He kind of took a second. I don't know. He wasn't trying to take the credit. He was trying to kind of be I think he's more laid back. But again, it was a big initiation for all of them. Oh yeah, here it is. It's called the Serpent Cross, the tail cross or the Christian cross with the serpent draped around is an ancient symbol that has several meanings, adopted by the Christian faith to signify the triumph of the cross over the serpent. That is the victory of good over evil, such as points toward the serpent that twined around the tree in the Garden of Eden. It also represents transformation of material into the spiritual as the serpent abandons its usual position on the ground and slithers upward toward enlightenment. The book of Numbers in the Old Testament of the Bible describes an incident where Moses is leading the children of Israel through the desert. Their numerous complaints and lack of faith led God to punish them with a plague of snakes. Moses counteracted this curse by following God's instruction to make a brazen serpent, which he put on a pole, a charm against snake bites. This magical serpent was called Naphthastan and worshipped as an idol. The serpent cross also appears in alchemical symbol indicating the elixir of mercury, effective healing substance once the toxin represented by the snake has been killed. So yeah, several ways you'll see it. I had to put some of these damn books up. I had to put some of these books up. So yeah. I mean, heck, we see a LeBron with the boule symbol, but it just makes you wonder which one of them dudes is they gonna kill on them 75th, because a lot of them old dudes was up there. A lot of them dudes had to be in their late to mid 80s. So, you know, which one for the NBA championship? So I wouldn't be surprised that for the playoffs and for an NBA championship, we will see a member of the 75th anniversary die. So a member or two. So and then now they can't use the excuse of the bug. They can't say it's the bug that did people in. So that's one of my predictions that I think sadly is going to come true. And of course, we did the debate the other night, who should have been on it and who shouldn't have. I think some of my heroes I love didn't deserve it. Dave Bean didn't really deserve it. Earl Monroe didn't deserve it. Bill Walton definitely didn't deserve it. See, Bill Walton was the answer. As I said, you know, the most efficient basketball was in the early 70s. Almost everybody got the ball scored. However, to combat the blackness of the league and before Magic and Bird came in there and saying, look, we passed the ball, that was, and it was the same script as what the Celtics did. It was almost the same way the Celtics was looked at. Wilt Chamberlain was the individual scoring all the points, but the Celtics won the title because they played team ball. It was that same shit. It was the same script they used for Bill Russell against Wilt. They used that same shit for Bill Walton. So, you know, we saw it used, you know, against LeBron. Same thing. It was used against LeBron as well. Putting said U.S. or any other country is going to make them suffer. Okay. Do you think all celebrities have sold their souls? Do you think Young Weezer, what's happening? Some do not. You know, Roddy Ricch got a song that says, I will never sell my soul. And it's like that. And he says, no, I wouldn't. But come on. He says he never sell his soul, but what's on the album cover? The one eye. So you got to be consistent. You don't throw any of that symbolism out there if you didn't sell your soul. Now, I think when Michael Jackson was young and you see him take the one-eye picture, he was being coached. I don't know that at that point he had sold his soul. So, no, you can't really go into the business without it. There's always a price. Is Joe Rogan a Freemason? Again, I've never listened to his stuff, so I can't say. I've seen a picture of Joe with Staten Ivory, Levin's grandfather, Anton Levy's got, where they're both throwing up the devil hand sign. Joe is wearing 6'6". Probably so. Joe is works for them. You know, Joe works for them. Don't think he don't. You know, he works for them. He is what was the word? Controlled opposition. That's all Joe is. Joe Rogan is just controlled opposition. And that's the thing of the beast. The beast plays every and all sides. It's just like I was saying about war. The same people put money behind each and all sides. I mean, Hitler, one day they're a country that you got to take a wheelbarrow full of money, of marks, a wheelbarrow full of marks to buy a loaf of bread. And then all of a sudden they got money to build guns, to build tanks. Where did this money come from? Well, we know Ford put in a lot of money. We know the Rockefellers put in a lot of money, and the Rothschilds, because they were German people. The Rothschilds were Germans. Joe Rogan. Okay, we already got that one. So something new came in. NBA starts back tomorrow. More magnetic shots. Now, saying that the Nets would make it because of Kevin Durant's mother. I mean, Kevin Durant done won a title, done won an MVP, been in the Olympics, so I think he's been paid. So, Rogan performs an awful lot of lodges. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, you seeing the controlled opposition on here. You know, as people was questioning Zach, and saying it ain't them peoples. He started by his first years was this them peoples. Now he switched to the just another name. Again, the Illuminati. Now it's the Jesuits. It's just a name they want to put up there of the same thing. It's the name, but it's the same thing. It's the same energy. It's the same wickedness. It all comes from the beast. That's why people don't understand how in some ways this existence is really horrible. I mean, Jody touched on a video of hers earlier, how horrible this world can be. Can be really horrible, but this is the beast world, created and worked with the mind, which is probably the oldest technology-based thing on this planet, wherever it came from. And so you had Yabatha, Yabatha. Let me get it right. to get the word right. Yadabath. You had Yadabath that more than likely discovered or some kind of way got this technology. So it was some shit even he couldn't create. And wherever this technology came from, wherever the mind came from, this technology, and Baumer even, he doesn't say the mind, but he hints to the techno god, and that the techno god had been here for a while. How people are saying Kobe couldn't win without Shaq. Now people saying KD can't win without Steph. Yeah. Even on YouTube, a lot of new initiates. Yeah, exactly. Says Benny Cunningham's reliable source. However, Larry Johnson is a homophobe. He's also anti-Semitic, and he has been arrested many times for domestic violence. I believe Benny was okay. Benny, but I don't know. Now, Larry is controlled opposition, because when Zach asked him maybe 2 years ago before the pandemic, was his college games fixed? And he said no. Well, that's a lie. You know, Larry went to a big time college. Didn't Larry go to Penn State? Taste they use. Yeah, I use all charcoal toothpaste. Yep. All charcoal toothpaste. And I use the powder too. I use charcoal toothpaste, or I'll use the charcoal powder. Hey, Stacy Ray, what stones are in your rings? They look good. Well, thank you. These are just diamonds. These are just diamonds. Just diamonds. These diamonds are probably 50 years old. And I guess I could tell the story of this ring. Each one of these diamonds was once an engagement ring for one of the Macs I knew in my life. And this Mac took all the engagement rings and put them into one. But this ring's older. This ring might be 60, 70 years old, especially these diamonds. They were just telling me the cuts of these diamonds. So some of these diamonds might be older, 70 years old, because the Mac I'm talking about was grown during Prohibition. And so, yeah, just diamonds. And then this one just nugget. But I'm gonna tell you, just a little thing is like you always see me, messing with this, or I'm messing with this. And, I've had surgery, carpal tunnel. I've had trigger finger, had both these operated from trigger finger. I've had surgery here. And this finger was really starting to give me some issues, because it wouldn't lock, because trigger finger, your finger pops and locks. But what it was doing, you know how your finger, when you put your fingers in water, you know how they shrink up? That's what this finger was starting to do. Like this finger, I really had to do this a lot, and it would really start to look like I was in water without being in water. It was really starting to shrivel up. But since I put this ring on, and that was kind of the idea, it has really strengthened this finger. And so sometimes, you got to do things that people won't think of, and it has strengthened this finger quite a bit. What shots in the 70s you think manipulated? Well, I think the old system, they could only use it once a game, it appears. And the first shot is Don Nelson's shot that gives Bill Russell his 11th championship. You go back and look at the shot that bounces in the air and then it goes back down. And that was 68-69, Bill Russell's last year. He was the coach and a player, because they really should have lost, because they lost four games in a row. They lost 3 games in a row. They really should have lost. And so the second shot is Jerry West shot Jerry West shot a shot damn near from the top of the key of the other basket. He gets the rebound. He hubs it like a step, like he would, right in today's play, he would be in the 3-point of the other. He'd be in the 3-point line of the other team. I mean, for his own, the one they're goalie. And I think that's when they manipulated. And then we see in 1985, we see it used in Georgetown against Villanova, when Villanova shot 70% as a team. Jensen, a 4-point average dude who didn't play a lot, we see him being the MVP of the game, scoring 20-some points, hitting 6 or 7 threes. And then, of course, the Jordan Shrug game, it was more than likely used. Yadabath, an angel in the archetypical Gospel of Judas, but he's also in the Gospel, also called the Demerge is another name. When we talk about Sophie, and Sophie created something outside of herself, and the other God sensed it, and she hid this being, and this being is looking down at humans. And he's like, they can't do what I can do, because in his own reality, he's creating shit and making this shit, his type of heaven. I mean, if anything that's close to heaven, it's what he created. And so then once he was released and went down, so that's kind of the fall too. Can paper money hold negative or positive energy? Well, you know what they say about most paper money? It has cocaine on it. Didn't they say like 90% of the money had cocaine on it? But it is a charge. They give you a charge card. It is it is called cash. It is called currency. And so, of course, currency has a charge, which can be both positive and negative. It just depends. I mean, look at people that get paid every week. Or, they say it's Friday, the eagle's going to fly. You see people acting more happy the days they get paid. That's almost universal. Look at the attitude of people you work with the day you get paid. Their attitude changes. Now, I knew one dude paid so much child support. I remember he was like, I hate paydays, because he had to give it all up. Here he had to bust his ass at the same job. He was a cop. He was a cop with me, and he ain't really had made any money. It surprised me, and it brought a lot of hate. Like a lot of these old veterans I work with, whatever their bills and shit, here I am, rookie driving 2 brand new cars, not just 1, 2. And that made them hate me. They used to flatten my tires and shit. Used to fucking flatten my tires. One cop, I found a car with a stolen license plate. So he's waiting for the dude. I got called off and they fucking stole my license. So I'm waiting on the people however long it takes, because eventually they got to come back to that car. And they must have saw us stalking the car, so they stole my plate. I hadn't even had the car for a week or so. Also, we had a blizzard. Can you imagine? I'm looking at my car covered with like 18 inches of snow, my brand new fucking car. Yeah, wasn't fun. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. Cool. You have more rings than Harden. My jury don't compare to his. See, Adam Watts was a formed Illuminati or Jesuit. I believe he formed the Illuminati, but I believe he was Jewish faith too. I believe he formed the Illuminati. But the Jesuits, what you have to look at when you're studying the Jesuits, again, you have to go back to Isabella and Inquisition. The Inquisition was against Jewish faith people. Don't make you think the Inquisition was against anybody else. It was against them. Now, I've said this before, they was at war with the Moors trying to take Geneva. And it was like, by the real time of war was, Geneva was the last, it's almost a word like Toledo, but it's Tupelo or some shit like that. And Geneva, the Moors had that. And so they was at war with the Moors, but they was also putting boot to ass to the Jewish faith people. And so what the Jewish faith people saw, to do was they joined the Catholic Church. This was the way not to get killed or tortured. You just joined the church, they left you the fuck alone. Because you start going to mass and being a practicing Christian. As I said, it was a dude that was given shit like Argentina or some shit in the New World. His family started seeing some officials. Again, it was still under Inquisition, and they was like, "Hey, you people still Jewish faith." I mean, the people that paid for Columbus was not Isabella. Isabella was cash strapped. That's why the Time Walking Papers talks about paying El Zagal this enormous amount of money, the most money ever paid for a country. And I don't know how that's possible because she was cash strapped. She had to sell her jewels and her diamonds. So, but what the Jewish faith people found out was it was easier to control the world being a Christian, a Catholic. They found out it was easier to control the world. And so they started their army. After Isabella, they started their army, but by then they were all into it. And so if you really think that the Catholic God was Jesus, you're sadly mistaken. There's nothing about that shows you that, they're about Jesus. Formed the Order of the Illuminati back in the 1700s. See, the Jesuits was created, I believe, in the 1500s. And Zach admits now that it is all Jewish faith people as Jesuits. You tell the story. You just can't tell part of the story. Hey, Liquid Fire, thank you. What's happening? Good to see you. Wow, Celtics lost 3 straight games in 69 finals. Yeah, they that's why they tell the story of the Lakers having the balloons and shit. Everybody took it for granted that Wilt was going to dominate them. And then when Wilt comes out, because Wilt had a fucked up knee, so Wilt comes out the game to spray his knee with some of that cold spray to take out some inflammation. Now you see the same done, where you see dudes sitting on the side, they got the ice packs. Keeps that inflammation from coming up. And so Wilt was doing that, then Wilt ready to go back in the game. Coach don't put Wilt back in. Wilt play last 2-3 minutes. So are my copper cups vintage? No. These are, and I've cleaned this one. This is like the other ones that need to be cleaned, but these are from Russia. 5-6 years, maybe 6 years now I've had these. And I have a vase. Somebody stole, I had a little like water bottle, and somebody fucking stole it out my car. And it had a big dent in it, so really no value, but yeah, I've had this. I get sugarite every few years. Or out during full moon and recharge it. Like these are still got charged, maybe 2 months now of being charged. So I need to order some more. Get some more more sugarite. Yep. So no, these ain't no more than 6 years old. Just all copper. Everything's copper. Handle, rolled copper, they call it. No. So no, not vintage. It'd be hard to clean vintage copper. So child support is cancer. I don't want someone to suck in my pockets. Man, it'd be dudes I knew in my past. They get their checks. It would be like, it's only supposed to be a certain portion. And I mean, I knew dudes that could barely make a living once they took and made good money, but so much child support. And it's only supposed to be a certain, I think at one point it's only like 30% of what you actually. But I've seen people that barely could live. They was working for child support. They wasn't working. They'll lock you up at some point. They could lock you up. It's tough on people. Whether or not the Illuminati is still around as they dissolve, when they believe to have dissolved back in the 70s. No, they didn't disappear. They called themselves a new name, but they evolved. They evolved into an army. The Jesuits is the army, and they have like a CIA. So it's just, but it's a buzzword. It's a buzzword. It's the new buzzword instead of saying they're peoples. So that's all it is. Is a big year for Freemasons. Could be. Had him on child support before understanding the system, then made more money and was able to help him as I could. And he then gave me what he could, and we were forever friends. There you go. Like I told the story before, and I'll tell it again. We was going through a magistrate, and it got there early enough where I was able to see the magistrates act. Because the first thing she did, a person that owed, she yelled at him, "How do you think this child is supposed to eat?" That's what she said to everybody. And so my ex, I said, "Now don't sit away from each other." We were together, so we sat down, and that's the first thing she says. And we didn't. I told her, I had already told her, don't respond. And they said, "Well, what are you here for?" Well, she says that I want to drop 5,000 off of him. And then she's like, "Well, are you on any, do you get any welfare or get any medical?" And she's like, "No." And she said, "Are you sure?" I mean, she asked, like, she kept us there a half hour when the work was done. She said she didn't she wanted that shit dissolved, that I don't owe it to her. But this lady was tripping. And as soon as our case was done, there was she asking somebody else, how do you think these children are supposed to eat? I mean, it was all an act. And she was on a power trip because, again, she didn't like men. She had some kind of thing. So it's up to the parents. I mean, then again, if they get on, if they get on medical and stuff, but because of my disability, even my daughter, and I pay a little bit of child support, but I was paying like triple. I just made a call and I was like, we're going to relook at this thing. And because I think they're overcharging me. And I dropped it because they sent me paperwork. They sent her paperwork. Neither one of us, we both dropped it. The state went ahead and was like, fuck this. You're paying way too much of what you make. And my ex was mad, but I'm like, look, this, and this, is going to work out for you. And so she talked shit to me. She like, I guess Michigan saying it's a dick move is the thing. And she's like, that's a dick move. And I'm like, I'm tired of hearing dick move, but okay. But when it turned out, you get the same money. So I'm not having kids. Baby mamas would take my last. Hey, hello, Nico. Do you think there's such a thing as true happiness? How do you know when you found true happiness? I haven't felt happy in a long time. Don't look for happiness because sadness comes with happiness. And that's probably what you're going through now. You're feeling the opposite of happy. Don't ever accept happiness. You accept joy, you accept bliss, things that don't have any opposite. When you accept happiness, you got to accept sadness. I mean, they go together. They're the same energy because you're going to, now that ties into karma. If you want to be happy, that's why I hated that song, because I'm happy, don't worry, be happy. Because they know that's a spell. They know if you take one, you got to take the opposite. There's no way that you can't. You have to take the opposite. So you find something, love, opposite. Love and hate don't go together. Joy does not go with pain. I guess you could look at it, having a baby, there's a joy and there's pain, but it's no opposite. To put these opposites on it, but there's no opposite. Love is supreme. Love has no opposite. And as the word says, love or above. So, find joy. I mean, like really a sad hole. The way to find joy is, find joy. Like say you in the hole, you just look at the sides and every day just find a little bit of joy, a little bit of bliss every day. And then once you get out that hole of the sadness, appreciate the little things, find joy and bliss in little things. Because too much, we think that we have to have this big energy of just, happiness put upon us. But again, you have to take the opposite, whereas you just take joy in just you and self-love. That's the way to get out of it. Or you can't. So yes, you can find joy. You can find bliss. And I find it in the littlest things. Like I was saying, November, December, the sunsets were some of the most beautiful I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, if there's anything that made me think that it could be an end of world scenario, it was looking at these sunsets. Because in my life, I've never witnessed them as pretty, as red. It was just, and again, I live near a lake. And so the sunsets were just breathtaking. I mean, they really were. It was like nothing I've really experienced in a long time. So I was finding just joy in looking at this beautiful evening. So that's what I would shoot for. I saw on IG was wearing a shirt that had the same person that's in your profile on it. I've seen that person. Oh, that's Fred Hampton. 20-year-old Fred Hampton. When he was only 20, he got killed at 21, but that shirt is from or the one is in my little thing is he's 20, young man. Ain't even worth it these days. I wonder that because I get tired of taking people out to eat because it seems like some women's game is just to get meals. And like I know women that's all they date for is just to get free meals. So I fell in that trap a couple times, but I don't mind. I mean, sit there and have company, get to know somebody. For if it don't work out, don't work out. You know, that ain't that big a deal to me. So I mean, it's on you, D. Still, it's on you. You know, what's the difference between joy and happiness? Well, as I said, joy doesn't have any opposite. Did you get my email? Not rushing you. No, I did not. I did not get your email. Yeah, because Read My Soul is supposed to send me an email too. Yeah, I didn't get it. So Eagle are the bomb. So it's not Eagles. I was stupid. I got this dyslexia stuff. So it's like my other email is WININD. What is it? Yeah, WININD Flint Eagle at Gmail. That's the other one. So if one don't work, try the other one. But yeah, I didn't get it liquefier. I didn't get it yet. So try to send it to one of those. I'll try to put it in the once I go back and edit this, I'll put it in the box. So yeah, because Read My Soul, I sent his a couple times. I never got his either. I don't know what the thousands I get. So yeah, try it again. Try it again. Yeah, I did not get it. Try it again. And I am going out of town tomorrow. So I'll be out of town. I don't know if I'm going to do any lives because I'm not coming back to Minnesota till like Monday, Tuesday. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be doing another live again. So I'll do one tomorrow afternoon after school, but after that, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Try one of those and try it again because I did not get it. So the difference between joy and happiness, again, like I mentioned, happiness is going to come with emotion that could be the possible letdown. Like what made you happy? See, when you're joyful, you're more of in the minute. You're in the moment. You look at the small little bit of a moment and you just, it's like you don't even have to say anything out loud. It's like with me, when I read a book, I get joy from reading the book. So I think what comes with happiness is a whole rush of emotion. It's like a whole rush of emotion. Well, what's the opposite of that whole rush of emotion? Again, it's the letdown, it's the sadness. So to me, that's what the difference is. Is sometimes the expectation is so high when you get into happiness, the letdown of the happiness, it can put you on a roller coaster. That's living in karma. I would say happiness goes with karma. And the idea is you can be above karma. That's why I don't try to teach you that. The chakras, karma, I don't teach any of that shit because I've learned to go above, because karma is the same kind of thing that if you benefit from karma, this is what they tell you. If you benefit from karma, when it comes back around, it can smack you in the face. They don't teach people how to be above karma. And when you see that sword come back around or the face slapper come back around, you looking down at it laughing. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm above this shit. I don't live in that. So I think happiness is not real. It's just a state of being. It's an emotion. Happiness is emotion. Well, as I say, joy and bliss, especially bliss. Bliss is like sometimes, let me tell you my idea of bliss. Even as a young person and looking to be a father, just playing catch with one of my children, throwing a baseball. Like that used to give me bliss, just throwing a baseball or a football back and forth with that. And doing the same with my children. Something that goes back to the infinite ball game. And so that's what would give me bliss, just me and my boy, or me and us shooting baskets. Like this summer when I took my daughter just to shoot baskets. It gives me joy. So I just think with the happiness, there's such a letdown that could come back. Because at the etymology of happy is luck. Yeah. And ain't there all right. Luck ain't there all the time. What was the old song? Luck be a lady tonight. Guys and dolls. Luck be a, Marlon Brando is shooting craps with Frank Sinatra and he starts singing the song, Luck be a lady tonight. So he looks at it being effeminate, bringing that feminine energy in there. But again, good luck, bad luck. Shamrock. Remember the Flintstone or Pebble and Bam Bam? They were Shamrock. And Shamrock was always, bad luck. Whenever he came around, bad luck came around. So these are some things to consider. I don't know. And I just think living by the moment and understanding what the moment is, you find joy in that. Once you start practicing this, and you'll find joy in the moment, because the moment is really all you have. I mean, what did I bring this up all the time with Dr. Range, but the ancient one, when she was dying, she said, a million years, but yet here I am trying to steal more seconds. And what she was telling you is, even though I've lived thousands of years, I did not take the time to enjoy the moment. And now, as even this ancient one is dying, it's like, damn, she didn't even learn the lesson of enjoying the moment. And she saw as it was all coming to an end, as they showed the lightning, they were showing you moments. And then here she is, it's like almost like she failed, because here she was not understanding, even though she got this extended time. And let me say this, they showed the dude that was 130 years old. They showed him again. He's now 148 years old. Again, when I saw the first thing on him, he was smoking opium still. But do you imagine being trapped here? And that's what I get from looking at it, like he's trapped. And so, yes, he's lived, but it's like almost like, why is he trapped here? And like looking at him, he doesn't, he's like, so his skin is so old, and your skin gets to smell it. Old people do. That's, as you get older, you smell different. Those that are lucky enough to be around old folks have a certain smell. You smell different you get older. You start smelling different. That's one thing I noticed in my 20s and 30s. It was like when I was in my young 20s, the deodorant that worked for me in my teens, and by the time I got 24, about 23, yeah, that same deodorant is like that old kind of deodorant. We used to use Brute. One of my roommates got me hooked to Brute, but it was one day where the Brute didn't work, so I had to switch up. And most melanated people have to use antiperspirant or a kind of natural antiperspirant. A lot of natural kind of things don't seem to work for brothers. Because I've tried some natural stuff. I've tried that Tom's, and that natural stuff just don't work. And there's nothing, being part of the community, there's something wrong with being funky. It's really nothing. If you was out in the woods and shit, but if you plan on being around people, you wearing the natural stuff I've tried will leave you funky. So. It's up to you, but that's just, and that's one thing we found when we did the Midnight League. We had to teach people this kind of thing. Dudes was like, I use deodorant and I'm still funky. Like, what if I'm doing wrong? It's like, yeah, brothers can't use deodorant. It don't work for us. You got to use antiperspirant. Old Spice works for me. Yeah, I use Old Spice antiperspirant. Yeah. Patty Mills and Ben Simmons is ready to be released from the cage. Simmons with LSU Tigers, Year of the Tiger. We'll see. We'll see. That would go into the thing of saying that James Harden would never win. But I don't see them rewarding Ben Simmons after his behavior. I don't see that. Because if he gets rewarded for that behavior, and Kyrie did something, and Harden, they all did the same thing, one out. So forced themselves out. Are they going to reward that? I don't think they're going to reward that. That's why I still think Embiid is going to get the title, because he stayed with his team. He didn't fire mean, they gave him his money, but I don't think that Ben Simmons is going to be rewarded for pushing his way out. No, they make Harding Oscar Robertson. That's something that I have to consider. It's very possible they make Harding Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson only got one title. He lost the other one, which they should have won. 76, they should have won it too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like my brother and I both got these hats in Michigan. Look at this shit back here. And this hat, $20. I take this hat to my place with all this stitching. Do you know how much they would charge me? And that this would cost me at my place to get it customized like that, and with all that stitching and in the back, that would be just $30 just in stitching. I mean, this ain't easy. Just look at that. That's all stitching. And this hat only cost me, I think, in Michigan, I got this hat. We got these hats for like $20 a piece, I think. And so I don't really care for snapbacks. I'm not really a big fan of snapbacks. I would rather have, fit, but, the Midwestern and East Coast Indians didn't wear their, they didn't wear these. Or TV, Southwest kind of thing. We didn't really wear the bonnets. And the East Coast Woodland Indians didn't wear bonnets or tobacco leaves, like straight up. We didn't wear it like this. So, but I like the hat. It shows a melanated person on it. That's all. And I'm a hat lover. I'm a hat lover. Shoot. and hats are, protect the crown. I mean, really, when you go out and talk about the tin foils on it, just put hats on. You protect your crown. I mean, the hat, look at people in the 1800s, early 1900s, everybody wearing hats. And ain't just fashion. It's like, there's a point there. You protect your head. You protect your crown. So, time is it? Okay, I'll go a little longer. Not too much. I got a bunch of shit to do. Oh, yeah, I got to get up early, too. Frick. Damn, I got to get up like 6. So, I'm not going to go too much longer. So, I'm going to start doing something I used to do before. And I used to show the crystal energy I'm going to send out. So, the card energy I'm going to send out for the crystal is Rocrondesite. And this is my piece that I really love. And this is one of the early crystals that spoke to me and told me to come back and get it. And so tonight, this is blacker than most pieces you see, and that's why I liked it. And again, this is a wand. Almost a generator, yeah. Almost a generator wand. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, I didn't catch that before. And then here's another version that you can find it like that. And Rocrondesite teaches the heart to assimilate painful feeling without shutting down, dissolving denial, and identify ongoing detrimental patterns. It offers compassion, love, forgiveness. You face the truth with loving awareness. Deep down, you feel alienated, unloved, or unappreciated. A history of abuse or disease. A history of abuse or emotional abuse can create disease. You may have misused or feared some of your sex power. You may be repressing something you do not want to face. Irrational fears and paranoia. Unacceptable emotions need to be acknowledged and transferred. Time for a change of view. Begin to seek the gifts of your experience rather than seeing the negative effects. Check out whether what you were taught is still relevant to the person you are today. Releasing resentment from your heart creates well-being. The frequency is high. And the soul path radiating unconditional love and selfish compassion. So Rocrondesite, I give you that energy. And I'll start, I think, doing that again in the energy of the cards, the crystal cards. Random question. Why do Arabians own all the gas stations? They were allowed. Arabs were always, when they took all the Koreans out and stopped the Koreans, as the Koreans moved up financially, they gave it to the Arabs. They brought the Arabs in like in the 90s. and where you couldn't get a loan, even though you might have had good credit, you wouldn't get the loan for the store. They was giving it to them, but they was giving them whole franchises. As what you saw is when like 7-Eleven and all of the names died, they were still holding those kind of franchises, and that's why. Like, look at what they did. They gave them a whole town. They gave the Arabs Michigan, and that used to be a melanated area. What are the benefits of protecting your crown? Fog. I mean, there is a type of fog that they call it, and it protects you from certain fogs that can be out there. The fog of not knowing yourself, the fog of not having self-love. So all these suggestions can penetrate some type of barrier. Attachments can penetrate without some type of barrier. That's the main thing. It's like this energy is just open, and so it's easy for attachments to tap onto it and tap into it. Again, like I say, with people, do they know themselves? What thoughts do you hear in your head? And I've said my own experience. I've had, like, I'm getting into it with my first wife, and something in my head says, "Tell her you hate her." It's something that's feeding all this hate, and that ain't really what I felt. It was like I was just upset. So, do you cover your head or feet while sleeping? No, I cover my feet, yes, but not my head. But my head has a baseboard. That's why really you're not supposed to have a footboard. You're supposed to just have a headboard. You're not to have a footboard, because again, when you have a footboard, it locks you in. And I guess that's a little bit of your question. It's like the energy coming in your feet as you go into the dream, the dream. That energy can be blocked by the footboard, because the footboard is a lot like a casket. If you kind of look at the way it's built, you don't want your bed to be a casket, and that's kind of when you put a footboard. Technically, you're not supposed to have a footboard. It blocks energy. So my headboard covers my head, and the black kyanite I have in every corner. I have black tourmaline in every corner, and I have the popolite pyramids in every corner. And so this kind of holds, kind of gives me a barrier. See how Simmons humiliated ESPN and could be underdog story of the year for him. It's scripted how the media was destroying him. Now they're using him with that. I still don't see them giving him a final with bad behavior. I just can't see that. Can't see it, because it would set a precedence of, and look, you can bitch and moan, but the draft is unjust anyway. I mean, what kind of job that you just ain't got a free market? Here they tell you that we have a free market. Here they tell you that the NFL is monopoly or the NBA is monopoly, yet that you let draft people. People should be able to, you should be able to go any team you want to. The idea of losing on purpose, which we saw the Sixers do for years, was the reason David Stern implemented the draft, because teams were playing bad at the end of the year. And he was like, how? Because the fix was too obvious, is what they were saying. So we come up with this draft, and this draft will slow that down, supposedly. But again, we live in a free market system. And why weren't these monopolies? Because the USFL won their case against the NFL. And yet, instead of breaking the NFL and making them pay millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, they insulted them. And again, the people that decided how much had to be on the NFL side. Had to be. There's no way that decision was without that. Is Detroit precious land or significant land? Yeah. I mean, this was again, Woodland Indians have always been going there. Same with Chicago. See, they don't tell you that. Chicago and Detroit have always had people in there. They try to say, but they try to tell you that this was sparsely populated, but no, the Potawatomis lived all through that areas. The Ottawas lived more on the west side, like Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, but the Potawatomis lived in all that area. And so, yeah. I mean, it's named after I think Detroit is a French name, whereas Pontiac is named after actually the real chief. So yeah, it is. All Michigan though is pretty much. And then we got Ohio, where we got. So yeah, all Michigan is lands that I mean, hell, the longest highway really in the country is technically 94, 90, 80, 90. Well, if you take it out to California, it's 890. You go the other way, it's 80. But these were Indian roads. I mean, 94 in Michigan came from an old Indian road. So if they was going to go to Detroit, they took that. So that's what they did almost the whole country, is they built roads over old Indian roads. So yes, it is. I mean, like Chicago is the ones that they tell you that the brother founded. So do you see why they want to destroy that energy? A brother founded that, and then all these millions of people live there. It used to be the second biggest city at one time. So do you see the Saturn energy directed at Chicago and Detroit? Because these were mostly melanated cities. One night, months ago, I had a dream. I was in my room floor laying down, and I couldn't talk and move. I woke up in bed scared. Yeah, that's just that dream, that sleep paralysis. That's all. Just remember, it's a tiny little thing. I mean, the me and the my is tiny, but if you look at it in our reality, it's something small that's attacking you in the dreams. So get some smudge, get some incense, clean your room out. That's all. And that should get rid of that, because you brought it in some kind of way. So just get incense, smudge. Smudge might work a little better. Just be careful with smudging. Sage, that shit can catch on fire easy. Harden quit on the Nets. I think the Nets quit on him. I mean, it made no sense for them to get him. It made no sense. It's like with the Westbrook trade. It made no sense for the Lakers to want Westbrook. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Lamborghini. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, why did they bring Harden there? He didn't fit. Ball dominant player. He didn't fit. I mean, I don't know if he's really don't fit where he's at now. I mean, his you see decline, him having the decline, his ability to decline, but I just don't understand why they wanted that. Either trade sense. Just like this is the year where it's just the stupidest decisions. Reward LA Sixers fans for throwing Ben Simmons under the bus after the Hawks series. Well, he should. Hey, Silva. Yeah, the Nets didn't need him. Exactly. The Nets did not need him. I agree. What's happening, Silva? Harden is a player. My only thing is looking at Oscar Robertson, and there's a big comparison between Oscar Robertson and not the triple doubles aspect, but a dude that could lead the league in scoring. I think Oscar can ever to get close to leading the league in scoring and assists the year he hit the triple doubles, but he didn't quite do what Nate Archibald did. I think Oscar Robertson that year came in. I think he led the league in scoring when he did the triple double, but I don't think he led the league in assist. So, but I think he was second that year. So, I don't think he's cursed. Harden would be wiped in 2 years. He already in the decline. His average 35 off free throws. Yeah. I said that before. I mean, he was a dude averaging like Giannis too. Them dudes averaging 10, 15 free throws a game, and they was getting to him. And this year they cut that off. And so a lot of his bitching comes from that. They cut his ass off from all them easy free throws. You get near him, they flay their arms, foul. And they said they was going to get rid of that shit, and they didn't totally, because you still seeing dudes kick their legs out in certain games. And that's where you have to look at it still fixed, because, again, how in certain instances they say under review they kick their legs out. Certain instances where we see them kick their legs out, they're like, no, he just went. So we see the fun in games. We see the fun in games. But just like the Lakers did not need Westbrook, you had two good young players that fit their roles perfectly. You had another big that could play 4 or 5 sometime, and then you had a guard that could consistently hit shots for you. Now they just got Monk. So it made no sense to get turnover. Like we was talking about Harden in decline, Westbrook has been in decline too, because if you do a close examination of them doubles, you can see somebody did a film together showing where they'll box out everybody. So just Westbrook, I mean, even the other team would cooperate and everybody would be boxed out, and so Westbrook could get the rebound. Oscar didn't have that. And Westbrook has had so many injuries, he's been lost his athleticism. He is totally on decline, and they giving him $40 million. That show you it ain't real. That's showing you it ain't real. And Westbrook wore the dress, so did Kuzma though. But that made no sense. No competent general manager would have got Westbrook and took on that contract. When you paying LeBron 40, you pay D high 30s, and then you're going to pay this dude that's probably not going to even start most of the time, that is truly in decline. It made no sense to bring Westbrook in. If it was real, they would not have brought Westbrook. And just like Silva said, they wouldn't have took Harden to the Nets. So you see the reason why they put Harden to the Nets, so they could trade him for Ben Simmons to go to the Sixers. That's all that was. I mean, Westbrook's play, he almost should be cut. And I still don't care what anybody say. Chris Paul wasn't shit for holding that all-star spot up. And that shows you some injuries may be fake too. Because it's no way the owner is that a person with a broken thumb play in an exhibition game. A person with a broken thumb gets allowed to play an exhibition game? That makes no sense. You're the owner. Makes no sense. Hey, PJ, what's happening, man? I think the magnet determines where the ball bounces when there's a missed shot. I swear shots bounce back to a team. You know, I was like still trying to think of that toy. There was a toy, and I try to describe this toy, but it's hard to describe because most of the time when you threw it, it wouldn't be oblong, but it was a way you would throw it, and instead of it going straight, it would be something in there that made the ball kind of like oblong is the best way I could describe it. It changed the motion of the ball. So you could throw this ball, and every other time it's going straight, but something you could do to the ball when you threw it, it would move crazy. There was something in it that you had to trigger when you passed it, where it would go woof, 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 and not go straight. That's what when I saw Curry shot, the way he shot it from half court, I think that is something with the magnets. As Chris Jackson said, you can make a miss. Chris Jackson says in the video, let me show you how you miss. So that's why I showed that shot with Curry. So I think it's a way you can release your shot that might affect something as well as maneuvering the shot. I think there's a type of release sometimes affects the shot too. That's what it appears. That's looking out, looking in. That's what it appears. Westbrook should be bought out. I agree. I agree totally. Yeah, he tripping. You're right. He'd be tripping. The ball goes flying in the air towards the 3-point after 3. That's crazy. Yeah. Let me get this right. So ball goes flying in the air towards the 3 after missed shot. And like I think DeMarco made a thing of LeBron's, and the reason why I showed Curry because I wanted a different look on it. And it's because again, what did you expect in the All-Star game? You knew shots was going to be manipulated, and LeBron's game winner, the ball looks like it's not even going to hit the. It looks like it's sailing right past the basket and it curves in. Reminds me a lot of Dave, the bye-bye shot against OKC, because the ball curving, and then the ball curves into the basket. So, but again, what did you expect from the All-Star game? 16 threes, that's normal. Like most guys don't even get 16 shots in the All-Star game. Why did he get so many? That's what you have. Why was he allowed to take 16 shots? He took more than 16. He took almost 20-some shots. So do you see who else took that many shots? LeBron game winner was so absolutely. LeBron's game winner was a joke. It was a joke. I agree. Oh, that is a smooth picture of you. Oh, that's smooth. I like that, Silva. I like your avatar. Yeah, there was definitely a curve. Yep. Curry's 16 threes don't seem real at all. This is the all-star game. How he get that many shots in an all-star game? This is ridiculous. I'm over here trolling and should be about missiles flying at the head. Ah, that's funny. That is funny. The Warriors in the finals, Steph getting hot. I think so. I think this is a Will Chamberlain ritual. So I think the Sixers get it. Yeah. Anytime, brother. You know, you're the smoothest I know. You've helped me so much. I finally figured this thing out. And then I go to get my Dogo and it's somebody, so I got to go buy one. Like I finally figured it out. So, but I'll know next week about if I lucked up and got this camera. Actually, a pretty decent camera. So next week, if I lucked up and got it. So, my man shoots the ball and doesn't even look now. Where they do that at? Yeah, exactly. Now I saw Terry Furlow shoot a jumper at old Jennison Fieldhouse where Michigan State used to play. And he shot and then he fell back into a chair. That's kind of common. You see people shooting the old high school stands where dudes shoot a deep one and fall back in his chair. But yeah, just the motion it took to finish and then turn, you know, without affect the shot, you know, shoot, turn. So you see it was already scripted for him to do that. So, but again, the Hall, that many shots and nobody mad. I mean, it's not real because he took more than 16 shots. He took 20 shots. Well, if I was moving around with the monocaster, yeah, moving around with it, I like that because I got a place where I'm going to do a live from and get in there with, because they've already told me I could come up in there. Steph and LeBron were born the same. They showed them like each, like no other. Yeah, like even remember when Steph was hurt and I made a video like why they keep showing him, you know. Somebody take a shot, the camera's on Steph. Steph lose the playoff, the camera's on Steph. Why? He's lost. Why is the camera still on him? So even when he's hurt, they couldn't wait to put the camera on him. I would have to email you, but I don't remember the name of it offhand. I don't remember the name of it, but it's 4K. Somebody just mentioned they brought a brand new camera and it's like they kind of going through a breakup. So it looks like I might luck up and get it. So I'll bust it out and show it to you. Because I had to email it once I get it. Because somebody came just like, man, I do podcasts and stuff, and I'm this amount of money into this camera. I'm trying to get some of my money back. And you think, I was like, hey, things don't work out between you and him. So we'll see. It'll save me a lot of money. Billions of people. Yeah, of course. I mean, but see, that's the thing is like everybody doesn't become aware. People believe everything that they're taught on television. People believe everything they're taught by their government. So therefore, people believe in these games. As I said before, some people only get their news from sports. Watch ESPN talk about the invasion. Why would a sport talk about some invasion of a country? But watch, ESPN's going to talk about it because they know some people only get information from sports. I mean, same thing with looking at the footballs and hitting the goalpost. What somebody showed the video, the dude from the Bears being able to hit the goalpost 5 times. You know, I mean, one of the sidebars 5 times or 4 times in a game. That's virtually impossible unless you're trying. And then I think somewhere in it, they asked him, they said he was the best ever of being able to consistently hit the side post. So we know they can hit the side post if they want to, or they can make them hit the side post. I haven't spoken with a good Big Pontiac in a while. Yeah, Perspective Gaming, glad to see you joining me. Yeah, when I get that, I'll email you. Because still, like, I want you to come here if I I want you to come here. I would eventually like to bring you here, because if I get one of these properties, there's a room where it's just, I'm gonna put a studio in the whole room. So I want to bring you here and pay you to put all that together. So that is what I'm trying to manifest. B Brown, what's happening? Uh, uh, who is you know, I'll say this with Ja, the thing that Ja's gonna suffer from is when athleticism goes away. How do you change your game? We saw Michael, have to change his game when that athleticism goes away. And little I look at him as like Iverson, a taller Iverson that can jump. Couldn't he take eating? Edwards is built, like Edwards is really J.R. Ryder, a better 3-point shooter. They're helping him manipulate more, but the same size dude, same built dude. I think Edwards is slightly taller. Seemed like Ryder was only like 6'4". Maybe list him as 6. I don't think he was 6'5". Edwards is, I've seen Edwards. Edwards is clearly 6'5". So same kind of guy, same kind of game as JR. Shit, people forget. Like Kevin Garnett said about JR, he said, I play with a dude like Jordan every day. He's talking about JR. And that's when Garnett was young. JR was still here. Was the field goal in John Bill's Super Bowl manipulated? Yeah, because it wasn't a very long Norwood's field goal. It wasn't very, it was 45 or 47. I want to say 47 yards. Pro kicker got to make that. He's the only kicker that missed the game Super Bowl winning kick. So Jim Kelly did his thing. Jim Kelly moved the ball down. And like my cousin Tony teams got hit. They had Vanderjack was the highest paid kicker and the best kicker in the league. And then he misses a game tying field goal. And I just remember how Tony looked at it. Tony said he missed. I mean, you can just read his lips. He missed. So there was one more I had in mind that I just slipped me. Who else missed a kick like this? But Vanderjack. Anderson. Look at the Vikings when the Vikings had that great team with Randall Cunningham, and he sucked. But when they had peak Randall, peak Chris Carter, a better team than Atlanta. Anderson had not missed the field goal or extra point all year. And then he misses the game time field goal. As I said before, the game was Randy Moss had like 5 yards on all defenders. And Randall Cunningham threw a duck instead of just throwing a dart out there. And that would have won the game. So we see that Cunningham was in on it. Had a person offer me to build their studio in Chicago, but they didn't have a budget. Now, baby, I'm going to have all that. Because if all this is manipulated, as all this is manifested, yeah, I'm going to have a budget too, baby. The equipment and the budget. So what do you think of Liz Cambridge? Yeah, I heard she was going to do an OnlyFans. That's a big person. I don't know. Check the Adam's apple. I don't know. ESPN is the new CNN. I don't know, guys. Liz has an OnlyFans page. Yeah, I heard about that. But I don't know. I don't know who pays her. Do you ever see the thing where people was saying Anthony Edwards was another one of Michael's sons? Now, I've never heard that. Wow. I have never heard that. A lot of people talk about Kobe being Jordan's son, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to see it. What did the band tell Granny and the Beverly Hillbillies? Granny was kind of doing a little strip tease of her bathrobe, and dude said, "Put it on." Hell, what's his name? Ice-T's old wife that's on with Corey Holcomb. She got one. And then you had Scottie Pippen. And I know people are desperate because match me. These women that's making a killing. They stream all day, and people got you can buy. I could buy so much, and you can send them money through tokens. But that's all these women do. They and this ain't like OnlyFans. Some women do be in bikini tops, but for the most part, it just be a talking head. And these people are giving these chicks money. and they don't even do nothing. They don't even give any good content. I mean, it's just it's mindless shit, but it shows you the amount of lonely people in the world. Because that OnlyFans, or no, that Match Me is the most. I like it because I never saw their servers down. I think maybe when I got off, maybe once, but I mean, it was people stream like YouTube. People don't stream 24 hours a day. That Match Me, you got people stream 22, 20, 24 hours a day. Where people, one girl, she was showing herself sleep, and motherfuckers is watching her sleep. Motherfuckers is watching her sleep, which makes no sense to me. Uh, 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 that's what I was saying, but that's a real Amazon. She's Amazon, huh? I never get that. I never get on those platforms. Yeah, because there's plenty of fish. You get you a few grand for the toe picks. A few grams for the toe pick. But yeah, this excuse me, this chick is sleeping. This chick is sleeping, but she's screaming while she's sleeping. And people just giving her money. Seeing Corver at Ben Simmons practice. Oh, Kyle Corver trying to teach how to shoot. And watch him miraculously shoot. Watch. He gonna play, he gonna miraculously shoot better. Watch. Watch when he play with the Nets. All of a sudden, he gonna have a three-point shot. Consistent. Making more than one. Taking more. Because remember, he would hardly take them. But this was the one thing we should get out of it is not believe these European hype players. I think that's the one thing we should get out of it. Axum was another one. They pumped up, but he can't take the physical game. He gets hurt all the time. But he was another one. They pushed up, again, bring them foreign players in here. Yeah, people put him in young Jordan picks together. They look like Jimmy Butler. I don't know if I wonder how old Jimmy Butler is, because I'd be old enough to be. And Jordan, you're younger than me. Zach's TFR. No, I didn't watch tonight. I was watching some other shit. Or my phone was charging. Yeah, Magnus is gonna help Ben Simmons. Exactly. But I mean, that's what we should learn is they hype these foreigners up. They're not as good. They're trying to bring these high school boys over again. They want the league to be 50% less melanated Americans. 50%. Want it 50%, 50-50. They do not, they are going to bring as many over here. So it's going to be 50 people from other countries, 50 Americans. So that means more jobs taking over. And as I've said before, many nights, what they're going to do is lock people into the G League. They're going to give these foreigners opportunity, and they're going to lock people to the G League. Because remember, these Europeans they put in the G League, they ain't trying to develop them. They just trying to keep the crop coming in. They know dudes ain't gonna never make the NBA. Stick them in the G League again to take away the spots. Watching Ben with a jumper in the Nets would be hilarious. Exactly. And not believable. I believe it's so been bullshitting all along, all orchestrated. Yeah. All orchestrated. Yeah. Ben Simmons was playing a story with Philly the whole time. I agree. And he probably didn't shoot that shot on purpose because of, again, earbuds. Jimmy Butler, 32. Okay, yeah. My oldest is 31. He'll be 32 this year. So, yeah, of course, he'd be old enough. I don't know if we'd be old enough to be Kobe's father. Shit, Kobe was in it. Yeah, I guess technically we could have been. Had to have been when we was in our 20s. Well, 40, yeah, in your 20s. Like people born in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. I guess I would. Yeah, because 79, I was 18. So, and I knew people, like I knew one girl got pregnant at A&T, and it was 80 or 81. So her child would be in her 40s now, I think. Dumb people will believe Simmons got better. Yes, exactly. I agree. Dumbass people. Yep, I agree. Well, I'm almost 2 hours. I'm going to have to go. So I will give a divination for tomorrow. And tomorrow is day 12. Yep. And so The energy for tomorrow is ebb. I think eagle is another name for it, but ebb. So the colors is yellow and orange a little bit, or they call it bronze wheat. So this is called bronze wheat. So if you need an extra push, wear a bit of bronze wheat. You need an extra push tomorrow, throw some bronze wheat on. Ebb, broom, grass, abundance, harvest, gratitude, chalice, emptiness, open vessel, quickening, electromagnetic timing. Chalice is the symbol. The number is 12, complex, stability, bronze wheat, shepherd purse, self-heal, ginger is the herbs, flowers, bird of paradise, rose, macrophilia, abundant supply, sin is apple blossom, stones will be rutilated quartz, quartz touched with gold, calcite, imperial topaz. The element is fire, directions from the south, issues of fulfillment, abundance, insufficiency. The shadow is issues of the mind, overvaluing or devaluing the intellect. The shadow transformation, becoming self-nurturing by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be filled with expanded consciousness. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be filled with expanded consciousness. Befriend your mind. Use your body's receptor for higher frequencies. Harmonic wisdom is the resonance. Mudra, arms stretched out above the head, then hands forward to form a V on the top of the head and open to the heavens. Meditation. I am a cosmic copia, ever singing you through the gifts of the spiraling galaxies. Affirmation. I am open challenge. I am the joyful expression abundance of the universe. And little cross reference here. Yeah, human vessel as a penetration for the higher mind. So, but yes, I'll be doing a show around 2:30 Central Time tomorrow for the Positive Daddy Hour. And then I'm not sure when I'll be doing another show again after that, because I will be traveling until Monday or Tuesday. So I might be able to set up where I'm going. I'm not sure. We'll see. We will see. I don't know why these pages, because most cards come into stuff like that, and you end up busting them. But and when I get back, I'm starting to set up stuff, so I'm going to start doing readings and stuff. So those that are interested in readings or pendulum work, I'm going to start doing that. Yeah, I think I got in everything. So they took DNA. Took some DNA from him between high school and college. I wouldn't be surprised. Dumb people will believe Simmons got better. I agree. Well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, each and every one, for the participation and just checking the old boy out. I appreciate it. I don't ever think I take this for granted. I appreciate it. As I've said, when I'm going, I'll go if one person watch or how many people tune in and out. I'll bring it the best I can. I don't try to be misleading or things work out that's in my favor. I don't do that. When I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong. Because I'm imperfectly perfect. So I'll finish off with giving you the transformation into Panther, the sacred ball. So thank you. So till we meet again, say less.